Hello, welcome to Skye Sweaty Record Review, episode 123? Who knows? It's the only first listen new music review show hosted by a French professor immediately after getting out of the YMCA. So today's episode is part 3 in the Ted trilogy. So fans of mine know that I have a friend named Ted. He's a successful commercial actor. You've seen him all over the place. He's a nice guy. Sometimes we look similar, if we have the right beard length, but usually not. He's a handsome guy. And he was always really into music that he used to call emo. And then other people called it emo, and then he didn't call it that anymore. But there's this whole constellation of bands that I grouped all together as Ted music. I avoided calling it emo or angsty rock or post-punk or any of the other weird terms that were used, and I just grouped it under Ted music. It was defined by being very guitar-driven singers who were either commenting thoughtfully on the difficulties of their lives or whining, I would always tease Ted by saying all the songs were about not wanting to cut the grass. But these bands all continue to exist. The names I would hear. You see, Ted and I and my buddy Brad, the guy who likes the Mekons, and Mark, I haven't mentioned him yet. We used to go on these trips to Canada, and we'd make mixtapes, and we'd listen to each other's music. And Ted's mixtapes were always funny, because they were all Ted music, just one after the other. And the problem that we had was it all kind of felt the same to us. And then quiet. I don't want to cut the lawn. I don't want to cut the lawn, right? That's how it felt to us. But, I'm older. I'm trying to be wiser. I'm trying to listen to things. Thanks to Ted music, I ended up listening to Pedro the Lion, which is in my top 3 favorite albums I've reviewed of all the 100+ albums that I've reviewed. I experienced American Football, which is a group I like. They're not up there with Pedro the Lion. And now we have the Get Up Kids and their album, Problems. Immediately, I want to say, I don't like doing negative reviews on the show. I basically never do them. And this isn't going to be negative. I'm not going to be not good or any of that garbage. But this definitely is not as good as American Football for me, and not as good as, not even in the same universe of Pedro the Lion. But what I like about it is that it feels exactly the same as it used to feel listening to Ted music. So the thematics of this album appear to mostly be about being older. I mean, there's a song called Symphony of Silence towards the end where he talks about it used to be good once and his body doesn't work anymore. The song Break Lines, he's got these kind of bratty vocals, but again he's complaining about being old. So I like that, right? I like artists who are honest. And if these guys used to be teenagers and in their 20s complaining about whatever, a girl who doesn't like them or being mad at their parents or whatever it is, and now they're being mad at their kids, that's good. Okay, that's interesting stuff. But the music sounds exactly the same. Now, if you're a fan of musicianship, they are definitely worth listening to. They're really tight, and they do a lot of really interesting things, a lot of nice drum fills, and just, they're a band that can end their song on the exact same note, dang! That kind of thing, really well. And the transition from part to part is really good. The vocalist sounds like he probably sounded 20 years ago. I don't know. If you're a Get Up Kids fan, tell me, has the vocalist changed at all? But from the very beginning, it's got this bratty, whiny, emo sound to it. So I'm going to play the first track, if my computer didn't die, which is my favorite track on the album, called Satellite. And it really gives you a good example of this sound. The way that emo was often defined was lots of variance between loud and soft, guitar-driven, primarily white, primarily suburban, primarily people complaining about their emotional life. And so here is Satellite, just to give you an idea of how it sounds, because maybe you'll like it more than I do. I'll tell you what I don't like about it after I play you this song that I like. So it starts off with this it's a nice kind of quiet bit with the guitar. No one cares about me. You're only thinking of yourself. Think of yourself. And then here comes the rock in.
Way down, so long, way down for me.
Right? So yeah, you're kind of like, you hear how tight that is, right? Like they're doing all sorts of things, all sorts of guitar layers, and the drums are playing. It's really solid. So it's not that it's terrible. It's just that what I don't like about it is like by the end of the album, I'm like, kind of like, give me a break, guys. Like I've gone through a lot of this stuff, you know, like it was like 35 minutes of just. It's not that it's terrible. It's that same feeling I had listening to Ted's mixes. Like there just isn't enough emotional variation. There isn't enough musical variation. And the thing that, like, it's like when I listen to reggae, which paradoxically is Ted's least favorite music, often reggae feels the same all the way through. But I like that rhythm. Like I'm inherently like brought to that vibe, right? So, okay. I shouldn't have said vibe when talking about reggae. I'm brought to that vibe, man. But I'm brought to it. I like it. It's an atmosphere that I enjoy. And this atmosphere, this attitude is not something that I'm brought to. So that by the time I get to songs like The Advocate, it's just like a little bit tired of it. But it's solid. The whole thing is really solid. An interesting song is Lou Barlow, which appears to be a song about meeting Lou Barlow, you know, from Dinosaur Jr. and all that, and like him not noticing them. And so that's kind of cool because maybe that's a comment on feeling like you're not artistically that you're lacking in artistic integrity, you know, compared to someone as cool as that. And that's neat because it has a lot of, one of my favorite aspects of this album is like a Cars-esque usage of keyboards, speaking of Boston rock gods, like the do, I mean, which is now more associated with Weezer, but the Cars are the ones who made it best. So there you go. There's my review of Get Up Kids. The third part of who knows how many TED videos I'm going to do as I go through this whole constellation of musicians with these names: Get Up Kids, Pedro the Lion, American Football, Texas Is the Reason, all these things. We'll see as they keep creating music. I'll keep reviewing it. If I had to give it a 3-word review, I don't know, probably something along the lines of like, not my thing but good, or super tight, a bit repetitive. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. You'll see on the thumbnail. Why are you watching this? There's the camera.